We're starting off high.
We can get a two fools agree on that one. Oh, by the way, look, we got the wide shot.
There was you had accountability. Now what I can
Now all you need is a podcast and a YouTube channel.
No, not even.
Where give me the money. Show me the money.
Apparently there's a Foolproof page.
Shoot the J. Shoot it. Live on Facebook.com/Foolproof Entertainment Network. I need you on Twitter. I need you to repost the Facebook pages.
To raise a human before I would
trust a human to raise back wolves.
before I would trust a human to raise a wolf.
Right. I hear you. Yo, what up, fools? Welcome to another edition of Do Fools Agree. As always, I'm your host, Michael Reggie, here with my main man, Clifford Jordan Jennings.
Sounded like an auctioneer.
And we got 75, we got 75, we got 75, 55, 55, we got 45, 55, 45, 70, 70, 70, 80, 80, 80, 80, 85, 85, 90, 90, 90, 125 sold.
You went from 90 to 25?
125, 125,
Oh, okay.
125.
You're fired anyway. That wasn't clear. I thought we were back down to. I thought you was giving us
I did go backwards
flash.
for a minute.
I thought you gave us a flash sale for a second. And I placed my bid.
You didn't raise your hand fast enough, sir. Oh, man. How's your week going? Or how did it go?
Right. I was about to say, I hope it's over.
Right? Shit. I have a
It wasn't
feeling
that
I
bad.
do some work tomorrow, so.
You do?
Yeah, man. It's the last 2
Working
weeks
on the
before, like,
weekend.
the first launch on this thing, so it's kind of to be expected, but it's been a while since I've had to pull something like that, so.
Right. That's tough.
You know?
But what can you do?
Right.
But you're also taking your trip next week, though, too, aren't you?
2 weeks, but yeah.
2 weeks. Okay.
So.
Okay. I must have had it wrong.
It's either that or I screwed up because I thought the weeks were off. Like, I think I probably screwed it up in terms of what I told you. The date hasn't changed, but, like, I thought it was 2 weeks ago last week.
Right. And I probably just had it stuck in my head as such. Mm-hmm.
I got you. But, yeah, man, so work's been nuts. I don't know.
The whole week been rough?
It has been, and it's fine. Like I said, it's very cyclical, so it's very rare that, you know, I have months as bad as the last, like, 1 or 2 have been, so.
Mm-hmm.
I went, like, 2 years under the radar, so I can't really say anything.
Right.
I'll suck it up when I have to.
Listen, I'm not mad at you.
Hey, you know? Oh, man. Got any inadvertents?
I was about to ask you.
All right,
I was about to
I got
that
one,
off to you.
but it's not really an inadvertent, but it's a share. I had to drop some truth bombs on my child today.
Some truth.
Yeah, he was in one of those inquisitive moods. You know how, like, young
Right,
kids
right,
get where they're
right.
like, well, Dad, what do you think about this? And Dad, what do you think about that?
Mm-hmm.
And so we're on our way home from, like, school, and I let him hang out for like a half hour, 45 minutes after school to throw the ball around, whatever, play some football. And on the way home, he's like, Dad, have you ever seen something that's, like, for free? I said, well, what do you mean?
Right.
He's like, you know, like, anything. Is anything for free? I said, well, you know, there are some things that maybe you don't have to pay money for, but I don't know that I would consider that free. He's like, well, what do you mean? Like, if it's not money, then it's free. I'm like, no, it's not. And you know what? As you get older, you realize that time is more valuable than money. You realize you would prefer to have your time than money. You would prefer to have your time to do what it is you want to do. Where you invest it. Time is just as important, if not more important than money.
Right.
And I said the other thing you got to contend with, bud, is when somebody does something for free, what are their expectations?
Right.
Either they feel like you owe them something, or you feel like you owe them something.
Right.
And I'm like, is that really free if you owe somebody something? He thought about it for a minute. He's like, I was just talking about money, Dad. But I had to drop some. I wasn't just going to say, yeah, there's free stuff out. No, nothing's free. There's an expectation. There's a guilt trip.
Right. He's
or
not worried about time. He has
6.
so much of it.
Right. Meanwhile, I'm like, how much longer do I really want to do this?
Right. Listen, I get it.
There was another thing he brought up too, and now I'm struggling to remember what it was. But no, there were a couple of good, just father-son type conversations over the last 24 hours, and I was all for it. So
yeah, kids trip you out sometimes.
They do, and you know what? I don't know. I love mine.
Right.
All the time I can get with him, man.
All right.
So
that's what's up.
Yeah. All right. So enough of the sappy stuff. You got any inadvertents?
What the fuck? I was just thinking about it earlier today. Which is, of course, why I didn't write it down, because it was the same day. I was like, ooh, I'm going to use that today. And now we'll come back to it. This is the
problem. We got Sleepy Cliff today, because Cliff just woke up. I could tell.
I didn't wake up.
Oh, okay.
I got sleepy.
Gotcha.
Waiting around.
I hear you.
But damn. Nope, I'm at a loss.
I don't know. I tell you what, this week has gotten me a lot just from we've hit the panic mode, and the thing is we don't really have a reason to panic, and so it's been exhausting because it's trying to calm people down, but not really having anything action I can take to earn that calm. Nah, you're just gonna have to trust me.
Right.
That's never a good spot to be in.
I mean, how confident are you that you're right?
I'm not.
So,
but I've managed to convince a lot of people that I am. So let's go. Hopefully, none of them are listening to the show.
I'm just saying, that is a lot, especially if you don't know what else is riding.
Right, exactly, and that's the thing is that we kind of moved the goalposts. So this is what is going to amount to a 3-year effort that I was asked to take over in the last 4.5 months before the first big launch.
You're right.
And so this was a no-win scenario. And the thing is, as long as we don't make it worse, it makes us look good. But we're coming down to the last 2 weeks before this thing goes, and what we did was we said, oh, it'll go. The definition of success has changed, though. So where you thought you were getting X, Y, and Z, you're just getting X, and you're going to be happy about it because we will deliver Y and Z a month later, and it'll be right. But I don't know. And honestly, I'm trying to think. I had an inadvertent earlier, and it was something show related. But you know what I've been watching a little bit of lately, just because the kiddo's been into it, is I've been watching WWE lately, man. And it's not necessarily the absolute most current stuff, but stuff from like the last couple of years, and it's just not as good as it used to be. Like, shit is so templatized, and like nobody gets to kind of like use their voice, so you can tell it's all like over scripted now, and it's just disappointing.
I mean, I feel like that goes across the board with most entertainment.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Like, for example, I was just watching, spoiler alert, for the 2022 Royal Rumble. So A-Reg has been into the Royal Rumble stuff lately because, like, he found out about that. Like, there's a kind of match where you win by throwing people over the top rope, and he just thought it was cool. And so we watched both Royal Rumbles. So they do like a men's and a women's now. So like there's a women's Royal Rumble, and the entrant number 30, take a stab at who the number 30, the last person in was.
Me?
Yeah, take a stab.
30 women?
30 women. Who was the 30th participant to enter and just cleaned house and basically
China.
Nope, China's dead. She died a couple years ago.
Did she?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to laugh.
Rest in peace.
But the way you said that.
China's dead.
You said that like I was supposed
China.
to know. I didn't know. Listen, I didn't know.
I'll give you a hint. She came from the Octagon.
Ronda Rousey.
Rowdy Ronda Rousey.
Oh.
Comes out to like fucking Roddy Piper's music. Yeah, she came in as the number 30 and just cleaned house. And like, it's interesting because for how much they try to, or really how much like UFC tries to delineate themselves from pro wrestling just to separate the real from the fake. It's interesting because it's UFC fighters that are at the top of the WWE right now. Like, you've got Ronda Rousey, who's coming back off of either pregnancy or injury. I wasn't sure which. You've got the main event at the Royal Rumble outside of the Rumble was Brock Lesnar versus fucking Bobby Lashley. Now,
Really?
Bobby Lashley wasn't like a big time mixed martial artist, but he was in it for a while.
Right.
And so Bobby Lashley cheats to win, beats Brock, and then Brock ends up entering the Royal Rumble at number 30 and wins the Royal Rumble, like, right after he had just lost his title. So it's like, okay, so this dude's really unbeatable. Like,
This is this year's?
yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, I don't follow. I don't know.
Honestly, I don't either. What's interesting is, like, the guys who are still around that I know, and I'm kind of like, they're not like top of the card kind of guys. Like, they used to be, but they're not anymore. Like, Randy Orton's probably one that I would put in that category. Rey Mysterio's another. And Rey Mysterio, for being like 45, 46 years old or whatever the fuck he is, dude still flies around the ring. Like, that shit's nuts to me.
He better stop it, because I was about to say that motherfucker getting old, ain't he?
Right. Well, what's funny is his son's in the WWE now.
Really?
Yeah, like he and his son won the tag titles, I think, a couple months ago. But, nah, it's cool just to see, like, who's still around, and, like, they've got, I mean, there's some young blood that are interesting, but it's like they don't give them enough air to breathe. So, like, they're not, it's hard to invest in them. Right, and you've got Roman Reigns, who is, like, WWE pushed him to be the next Rock, and really, like, he's kind of like, he kind of has a Jason Momoa vibe to him, like Khal Drogo vibe to him, but he's so bad on the mic, it's like, dude, you're not The Rock. You keep trying, but you're not. It doesn't matter who you are. Like, Rock's comedic timing is just flawless.
Yeah. I mean, that speaks to how successful he is in his movies.
No doubt.
You know?
Well, and you know who's come a long way in that same vein is fucking John Cena, dude.
He has.
Like, John Cena, have you watched Peacemaker at all?
Yes, I love it.
Oh, dude.
I love it.
So I've only watched, I didn't make it all the way through yet. Like, I think I've only seen the first 3 episodes, but, like, he is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
And
It's
it's
good.
cool
It's
to
great.
and it's cool to see him in kind of like that anti-hero but like over the top villain role just cuz he's so fucking funny, man. Like
He's my favorite superhero now.
Is he? Peacemaker is? Aren't you the one that kills all the black people? Aren't you the one that just kills more minorities? I'll kill more white people then.
Right.
I'm trying to think. Like Batista kind of did it. Although he pretty much just plays like action and like sci-fi type roles where he's just like a menacing figure. But I mean, he did a fair amount. Like he's in Marvel. He's in Guardians of the Galaxy or whatever. So like,
oh yeah, he is.
Drax.
He doesn't talk all like that, and even when he does talk, it's not like.
No, they honestly, and they try to. So after the first movie, they kind of killed his character. Like, because he's simply there for, like, one-liners now.
Is that right?
Yeah, like, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and onward, like, the Avengers and, like, well, I guess it's Avengers and the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and beyond. Like, every line he has is meant to be, like, a joke. Versus in the first one, like, he had some character. Like, he was avenging his family, blah, blah, blah. And now he's just, like, joke after joke.
Right.
Because they went all Marvel on it.
Listen, I don't
know. Zippy one-liners, man.
Did they do a third? Didn't they do a third?
There's a third that's in the works.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Asgardians of the Galaxy because Thor's tagging along.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Might have seen both of them. I feel like I've seen one or the other or both.
I mean, the first one I liked a lot. The second one I could deal without.
The second one was with his dad or something?
Yeah, with Kurt Russell.
Okay. I think I have seen both. The first one, yeah, because isn't Groot older in the second one?
No, Groot's like a teenager in the second one, I think.
Right.
But in the first one, he's full grown, and it's the Avengers movies where he's like a little twig.
Oh.
Or no, he's like a little tree in the second one. And then in the Avengers, he's like a teenager.
Okay.
But I'm trying to think other people that have done like crossover stuff like that. Like, has there been any? I mean, have like outside of being like a sports personality or an announcer or something, like. Has anybody done like crossover work where they've gone from like sports entertainment or sports into purely being an entertainer? I'm trying to think. Like, yes, you have the big names that like show up and shit, like LeBron, like Jordan, but like, have other people kind of crossed over?
Rick Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rick Fox had a couple movies. He was in a movie called Resurrection back in the early 2000s. He was in the Medea joint.
Okay.
He's had a few roles. Rick Fox, I'm trying to think if there would be any others.
Like, I'm surprised, not really surprised, but like, are there more like fight sports guys that have crossed over? Like Randy Couture's been in a couple of things. Chuck Liddell's been in a couple of things.
Steve Austin's
been in a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Austin actually, I think, should do more acting, but I think he's happy doing like just like he does his wrestling podcast and he has his own show on the WWE network and that kind of shit.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. I think it's called like Broken Skull Sessions, where he basically just interviews people kind of off the record style.
No, I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah, and again, it's only on like it's podcast and it's on WWE Network, so it's not like big or anything, but he's still collecting a paycheck.
Right. Yeah, but no, I don't know other than Rick Fox is the only one that comes to mind. What about baseball players? There haven't been any baseball players that started acting?
I mean, not that I can think of. Like, who... I mean, okay, so you could look at people like Jeter or or A-Rod or people in that vein, but I don't
But
think any of them ever did anything.
yeah, no.
Like I'm thinking of the pretty boys of the league kind of deal, like.
Yeah, no, I don't.
And honestly, basketball players seem to have the most personality. Like, yes, occasionally you'll get football players with like that kind, but I don't know. So I was trying to think like along that vein, like people that have crossed like multiple arenas and those kind of things. Like, I mean, the flip side is I think it happens between musicians and television film all the time. Like Jamie Foxx.
Right.
Lady Gaga now, like she seems to pop up in a lot of shit. Like, wasn't she Oscar nominated for whatever the, what was it called? The Beyond the Stars, something like that. I don't know.
I don't know, but she seems like she'd be dramatic.
Right.
Like that role would fit. Shit, Reba McEntire had a fucking whole sitcom.
True.
Yeah, music is different. I wonder why that is.
I don't know, but you do see it a fair amount. Like Ludacris is probably more an actor than a rapper now. He shows up and shit all the time.
Shit, Will Smith started as a rapper
that way too. Yep.
So
I am sold on Bel Air though.
You are?
Yeah. They did like this whole arc where like Will wanted to go, or like Will started off in the early parts of the season, like wanted to go back to Philly, wanted to go back to Philly. And at this midpoint in the season, he's like, nah, I'm not going back. I'm staying. And like he and his boy from Philly got into it and fucking shoved each other through some punches. Like, Bel Air bitch is what his boy called him, I think.
I think that was in the what's the name too.
And I think the other piece is like, so the Uncle Phil is running for DA, so he's not a judge, but he basically got Will out of his situation in Philly. And so like there's this whole undercurrent that eventually that's going to come out and it's probably going to ruin his DA bid or whatever. And
all right, he did it legally.
Oh no!
Illegally.
Like he pulled strings, like lose the file type shit.
Right.
So that show's kind of piqued my interest. I gotta watch Picard. Picard started back up, I think, last night. That might be what I do after the show.
What did I watch? What have I watched? I know I definitely watched that Peacekeeper, or what's it called? Peacemaker.
The other one that I need to catch up on is Euphoria.
Yeah,
like I watched like the first. I watched like the first episode this season, but I'm not sold on it, and it went a little over the top. So I'm kind of like, eh.
Yeah, that's why, and I don't like shows like that anyway. So
yeah,
that I'm good on that. But I feel like I've been watching something too, and I can't think of what it is.
I did start that Inventing Anna, but I haven't gotten very far in it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm trying to think like what's coming out that I'm interested in. Like, I don't really have an interest in watching Moon Knight or whatever that's coming out on Disney Plus. Although 2 weeks,
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
2 weeks before that launches, Disney Plus is introducing parental controls, which means that's probably an R-rated show.
Right.
Which will be different for like the Marvel Netflix on Disney anyways.
Right.
And maybe that means it'll be more like the Netflix Marvel shows that were like grittier and like Punisher and Daredevil and Jessica Jones and I mean Iron Fist was terrible, but Luke Cage.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean we've seen Daredevil shows up in the Spider-Man movie. Fisk shows up in Hawkeye. So they are crossing over and bringing like the Marvel Netflix people to like the MCU now, which is cool.
Right.
Maybe we'll actually get Luke Cage in a movie type situation. I don't know.
Yeah, listen. I can't say that
No.
I'd be interested even if they did.
No.
I know.
His superpowers getting shot up. I feel like we did an episode on that.
Did we? I watched it. I watched a little bit of. Yeah, I watched a little bit of the first season.
Of Luke Cage.
And I think I seen the first episode of the second season or something.
Honestly, like out of those shows, like the first season of Jessica Jones was good. Luke Cage was alright. It wasn't great, but it was alright.
Right.
All 3 Daredevil seasons were good. Iron Fist was terrible. And then I don't even remember watching Defenders, which was supposed to be like the big team up series with all 4 of them.
Yeah, it's on either Netflix or Hulu.
Yeah. But I don't even I know I watched it, but I couldn't tell you anything that happened.
I tried to watch it, but I don't think I got into it.
Right. And so that's a little disappointing that, that's one of the big series, or that was supposed to be like everything coming together, and it just kind of flopped. But
was it supposed to be everything coming together?
Yeah, I mean it's Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, like the Defenders are like
I see what you're
saying. The local version of the Avengers.
Right, I see what you're
The
saying.
Hell's Kitchen's Avengers, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I just went to reach for my arm and realized it was burning a little. So I did get this finally to where it needs to be.
How
And I may have scored us a guest who said that he would come tattoo us live on the show.
yeah.
The yin yang vibe finally coming in.
Mm-hmm. What?
Dude, the amount of detail this dude did on this fucking thing. Like, if you want to do something matching, what I want to do is I want you to give like the concept and just let him work.
Listen, I'm not against that.
He's solid, man. Like, and he was a fucking technician. Like, I had a big problem like seeing how this thing was gonna come together.
Right.
And it came together perfectly. Like, I've got one more session to basically finish up the border and probably go back and do some shading once it heals a bit. But
right.
I am just like the mosaic. Just like
when's the last time you got something done on it?
Like 2 days ago.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I got the bottom half filled in on Wednesday night. Showed up at the shop and he was like, dude, I had you for tomorrow. And I'm like, dude, we've done Wednesday every single time because I've got my kid on Thursday, so you fucked up. He's like, you know what? You're right. You're probably right. But nah, man, he's awesome. Aaron Kramer, Sacred Hand Tattoo Society over there on Parsons Avenue. Go give him a shout. I'll tell you what, for as good a work as he does, he seems to have a little more availability than some of the other people in the shop. So
right,
hit him up and tell him I sent you, and maybe I can get some free shit.
That's right.
I'm trying to score us free ones for when he comes. Like, come be on the show, talk about your stuff. You can do us, and he was the one that said, "I'll tattoo you both live on the show. That's fine." He's like, "I'll bring my kit." Now we'll see if he's serious, but that would be sweet, wouldn't it?
I'm not against that. I'm not against that at all.
He'll do the line work for free. Getting a shade in, we'll have to pay for it, but you know.
Right.
Nah, he's a good dude. I've been thinking about that a lot lately too. Like, we gotta start talking through the guests. And speaking of guests, I do want to talk about our sponsor for tonight's episode. The Black Lick Spice Company, based out of Texas. Shout out to the Bufords. Mr. Buford, Gordon Buford. We did get a package from the Black Lick Spice Company, so just to be clear, this is a paid sponsorship in terms of we got free shit for it, so thank you all. But yeah, check them out. You can find them online at blacklickspice.com. And I think they send stuff. Yeah, there's e-com involved, so you can order and have it shipped. And
Yeah, check the website.
Cliff and I will here in the next time we are live together, we will do a live taste test of some of the stuff. We'll put some pretzels out, put some sauce in a cup, and see what we got.
Yeah, I'm with that.
And if anybody else is interested in coming on the show, hit us up. It's been a while since we've had some guests from outside the family, so hit us up.
Yeah, we haven't had guests on in a while.
Yeah.
What's this about the games you were talking?
All right, so getting into the topic for tonight. So, in an effort to get my child off of video games once in a while, we've been playing a lot of board games. And it got me thinking just kind of about, like, growing up. You know, I feel like, yes, we had video games, but I feel like I still played, like, a fair amount of board games with my family. And so, wanted to kind of open that up for a topic tonight. And really, I'll kind of lead things off. And there's a game series that, honestly, I bought it, like, 2 years ago. And didn't really play it. And finally, I convinced A-Reg to play it the other day. And I'm addicted to it because it is like the most intense thing I've ever had in like a board game. So the series is
you playing them old fantasy shits and all that. So
it's really not. Like, that's the thing. And you know, I play tabletop role playing. Like, yes, I play Dungeons and Dragons. I would play a Star Wars role playing game. I'd play role playing games all day. This one has some elements of that, but it's really not. And so the series is like the Forbidden series. And the one that we've played is Forbidden Island. And I think there's Forbidden Island, Forbidden Sky, and Forbidden Desert. And I've got Forbidden Sky. We haven't played it yet. And it's by a company, I think, by the name of Game Right. And they're fairly, like, solid board game company. And the concept of this game is that it's one of those games where, like, you build the board every time you play. And so the board is made out of, I think it's 24 tiles. It's something like that. And these tiles are like different areas, and what you're basically building is a map. And each tile is a specific area on the map.
Okay.
So that's how you start out. You draw cards to see what your character is. And this is where the role-playing element comes in. Every character has like a unique skill set. So they've got like one special ability that they can use.
Right.
And so the concept is you're on this island. This island is beginning to sink or flood. And you have to collect like the 4 treasures of the island before the island floods and you're fucked.
Right.
And so what happens is like every turn you have to pull cards out of what's called the flood deck and you flip tiles over. And when a tile is flipped, it means it's flooded. If, for some reason, something happens where like the deck has been reshuffled and there are cards that force you to shuffle the discard pile and put it on top.
Right.
If a card is already flooded and you pull it again from the flood draw, that tile disappears off the board. And so you can no longer use that tile. Now, there's one character that can kind of, I think he's called the Diver, and he can go across, like, empty spaces. But you have to collect all the treasure before the treasure either sinks or before your exit point sinks. And so this game gets intense in the sense that, all right, so I've got 3 of the treasures, but I'm down to, like, 6 tiles that are left on the board. And, oh, shit, I just drew the last flood card, and now I have to put all these discarded cards back on top. And before I know it, I went from a 6-board map or a 6-tile map down to a 2-tile map. And I'm like just sitting on this last tile, waiting to see like, all right, can I pull the last card that I need before the island sinks and I'm fucked. So like the first time Andrew and I played it, we lost. And it's co-op, so it's like you're playing on the same team.
Okay.
And so the second time we played it, like literally, we were down. We had 1 tile left on the board, and it was our exit point, and we were 1 card away from losing before we could play the card that like basically the escape card.
Right.
So like it gets intense, and I think that that's unique for a board game because usually board games like even if you're doing even if you're playing like a 1v1 kind of strategy game, right? Or if you're playing something like Risk, you can see pretty quickly like how the game is going to go. And it's been a while since I've played Risk, but like you can start to get a feel for, oh, this is going south. Like I'm going to lose this.
Right.
And it's different when it's one-on-one because you're like it is that player versus player is not the same as like player versus environment. And like player versus environment, you like there are things you can't account for.
Right.
And so yeah. Go ahead.
Is it timed? Or is it just...
It's timed in the sense that so there are two different like card piles that you draw from. There's the flood pile and then there's the treasure pile. The trick is that buried within the treasure pile, there are cards that basically force you to put anything that's in the flood discard pile back on top of the flood draw pile. Mm-hmm. And there is the sense of urgency is driven by the fact that how many cards you have to draw out of the flood draw pile is determined by like where the ticker is on this like sliding scale. And every time you pull it's called a Waters Rise card. Every time you pull the Waters Rise card, the tick mark goes up and you go from having to draw 2 cards to having to draw 3 cards to having to draw 4 cards to having to draw 5. And then once it gets past 5, the game's over. But it's it's intense. And I think it might actually be easier with more people playing. With 2 people, like it is very much you against the world because you can't get all of the treasures all at one time. Like you all have to kind of you've got to like divvy shit up and say, all right, you go there, I'm gonna go here. Oh shit, I got a card you need, we got to come back together so I can give you that card and then go back. Like it's stuff like that. And similarly,
that does sound interesting.
Yeah, man. And you know what, in terms of gameplay, like it takes, I don't know, 20-30 minutes.
Right.
Which is great when you're just trying to, keep your kid off video games for another hour.
And what made you buy that? Did you know about it or?
So really I came across it really on the like Amazon recommends. So we had played a couple of card games that were made by the same company and it popped up because we had bought that card game. And that card game was like, I think it was called Long Cow. And it was basically like you have to collect pieces of cows and like make cows out of your cards or whatever. But so I saw that, and obviously it had some like minor role play elements to it, so I was intrigued by it. But again, it sat on the shelf for 2 years in its packaging, and I didn't play it at all. And so there's another one that we've got. It's called Forbidden Sky, and I think the idea is that you're on kind of it's either a floating island or like a floating plateau or something. And similar concept, like there are environmental cards that make shit happen on the board, like that'll blow you off the sky platform.
Right.
And you've got to build a rocket ship before like you fall off the platform, basically.
That seems interesting. I'm not going to deny that. It definitely seems.
So that was what kind of spurred the idea for the topic, and I was wondering like anything you remember playing growing up, or or even like card games that you still play. Like I know my family has the games they play, but I'm curious in terms of like are there things that you remember playing either growing up or that you guys still, when the family gets together, Spades comes out or whatever.
Yeah, Spades would be the only thing for real when the family's around. But
which reminds me, we still got to get you involved in playing some double deck euchre at some point.
Oh yeah, we did talk about that.
So for those,
listen,
I think you would. Uncle Dan and I are permanent teammates, but he deserted me at Christmas Eve because he was sick.
Really?
But double deck euchre or bid euchre it's basically a combined spades and euchre.
Right.
So you bid like spades, but it's played like euchre in terms of, but you've got 2 euchre decks put together.
I'll have to be refreshed on euchre to be honest,
right.
But
jacks are high. That's all you got to remember. The jack of the suit or of trump is the highest card, and the jack of the same color but the other suit is the second highest card.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think I follow.
And then if you're playing double deck, the first one played is the highest. So meaning if you play, like if spades is trump and I throw the jack of spades, if somebody else has to play the jack of spades, I win the trick.
Okay.
So that's where like strategy comes in. Like if somebody's short suited but they've got that other bar that you need,
right?
Got to get it done.
But yeah, no. Spades was the family. That's cards, of course. Spades, but other than that, board game wise, I've always loved Clue.
Okay.
And what's it called? Stratego, I think.
I was wondering if you'd remember Stratego, because I feel like we used to play that in Latchkey a fair amount. Like,
listen, I love that. I love that game.
I just bought it, and I tell you what, I do not remember how to play, but I figured it's going to be relatively easy to pick back up.
Yeah, that's not. It's basically.
It's kind of, yeah, I was about to say, it's kind of chess-like, but with a couple of other elements, and like every piece
they don't know where
same.
you placed your different players.
Like it's chess, but capture the flag is kind of how I remember it.
Right. And you set your players up how you see fit, you know?
Right.
That game used to be fun.
I feel like we played that all the time after school. I
used to love that game. I actually looked online and I was thinking about buying it, and I saw the price. I said, ooh, fuck that.
I think I found one. Well, and that's the thing, is I think I found one for like $25 somewhere.
Yeah, I would do that. I ain't paying $50 for it.
No, absolutely not.
Fuck that. Yeah, them is my two, I would say, go-tos. I got Clue up in the closet. I got Clue Connect 4.
Connect 4 is a good one. Connect 4 is just fun because it's easy and it's quick.
Right. And something else. Damn, I can't think.
Now, here's the thing with Clue. I don't think I've ever played Clue. And I know it's like,
really?
Yeah. And so I have no idea. Like, I was thinking about it the other day. I'm like, I know this is like was a popular game growing up, but I have no recollection of ever playing it.
Really? I love Clue.
Yeah.
Clue's one of my favorites. I'm trying to think. I like Life.
Life is good. Yep.
I mean, you know your classics like Monopoly and all that.
See, Monopoly was always our game, like growing up with the fam. And Monopoly always gets into a fight at the end when you start wheeling and dealing, trying to make something happen at the end. Or like players are like, especially what I remember growing up is my mom and my dad being like, or my mom and Kevin, either way, being done and being like, all right, we got to end this. And like they would team up with one of us and basically say, I'm going to sell all my properties to my child. And then it would be Matt and I, and it'd be a fight by the end. This is bullshit.
Yeah, Monopoly goes for too long.
That's the thing, is it takes forever.
I might have played Monopoly all the way through once or twice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't. That's too much.
Well, and it's one of those games that it's better with a few more people. Like it's hard to play that one kind of 1v1. And it's just it's so tedious if you're just playing like 1 versus 1 on that.
I'm good. I'm good on Monopoly, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the other ones. Like you said, Life. Trouble's another one that I feel like Trouble takes fucking forever too. Like
yeah, it can.
It's real simple, but like if you play by like you have to get the exact number in order to put them in like a certain spot. It's a lot. And what's the other one? Parcheesi's kind of the same way, same concept as.
I don't know if I know Parcheesi.
It's really the same idea. Like you have to take them out of your home base and get them to somewhere else, but it's the same concept. Shoots and Ladders is another one.
Yeah, Candyland.
Candyland was great for like the real little kids, like because it's easy. Shoots and Ladders is kind of the same way, but little kids get frustrated when they hit that chute right next to the end, man. Meanwhile, I'm shooting for that number 80 space that takes you right to 100. Life lessons, bitch.
Stupid.
Sometimes life comes at you fast. It takes you all the way back to 30.
Yeah, haven't played a good board game in a while.
Nah. We might have, I mean, next time we get together, like that island game, man, I'm telling you.
The island game.
Forbidden Island.
No, I'm with it. I'm with trying that out. And that definitely does sound interesting though.
Get you and Lil Mama over here. Me and Andrew, we get it. We can get 4 of us in on that.
Listen, I'm with that.
And it takes like once you play a game, the game plays real easy. Like it makes a lot of sense. But you kind of got to get through the first one. And that's the thing is that with it being co-op, like you all being on the same team, like you can help and it's fine. Like you're allowed to help and make suggestions. Like I think you should do this, this, and this.
Almost seems like a board game version of the escape room.
Yeah. Very, very comparable. And there are a couple other ones that I've got down there that I haven't played yet, but like I'm trying to remember if I know I've played Codenames before, but that's another one that kind of pops up. And you know what immediately came to my mind? Codenames. Basically, it's like you put out a bunch of cards on the table, and you have to give clues to get them to pick out like who's the spy. So I feel like it's got like some clue elements, but then it's also got some strategic elements, etc.
Right.
But you know what came to my mind when I thought of this topic?
What?
I thought of Cards Against Humanity and the uncanny ability of you and the Rita being able to identify one another's cards and fucking just rack up everything. You and my mom on the same page with every fucking answer.
Listen, I'm just trying to say. I don't know if it's the cards or our inhumanity. But we're champions.
Nothing more uncomfortable than sitting there playing with your boys and some friends and some other friends. And meanwhile, like the most absurd sexual innuendo is being displayed between your best friend and your mother. Oh, man.
I love my reads. Man. Cards Against Humanity. That's a
that's
good
what we need.
That doesn't count.
We need like a good, like, I think it's a card game. Sure.
But you can't play that with your kids. It's not going to get them off of video games.
No. that is not a kid's game.
Right.
Although you can find like family friendly versions of them where it's like farts and whatever, like kid humor versus adult humor. The problem with Cards Against Humanity is that I feel like half the cards in every deck are not timeless. Meaning they're like pop culture references that are very specific to a point in time or whatever.
Right. You ain't going to be able to, well. I
mean, obviously if you live through it, you'll probably remember, but like the zeitgeist is different for everybody. So it's like remembering who was involved in this point. The other one that I've been doing a fair amount lately, and this is technically video game, but it's trivia, is I've been playing You Don't Know Jack a fair amount.
Have you?
Yeah. It's just been something to do, man. Especially with like the cold weather and shit. Like,
listen, I get it. You don't know Jack.
You don't know Jack, and then the trivia murder party, which I finally got into a little bit, and
what's that?
It's another version of You Don't Know Jack, but like if you get a question wrong, they pull you off the main board and like take you to this thing called the Killing Room, and it's kind of like a mini game to see if you survive or not.
Yeah, I think we played that.
Yeah, I think we did once or twice, but that one it's grown on me.
Right.
But those are fun. No, honestly, that was something I've been thinking about. Like, as this custody schedule shifts up and I've got every other Saturday night with him, like,
Right.
all right, we're going to have some folks over and just have fun. Like,
Yeah.
throw out some drinks, play some games like that, like, something low-key.
You already know I'm with it. I don't do too much. Stay at the house, you know.
I hear you.
Stay out the way.
I'm trying to think, is there any other game like that? So obviously the natural transition from that, since Cards Against Humanity is kind of the perfect transition point, but like drinking games, what's your game?
I don't know a lot of drinking games. I know like beer pong.
See, beer pong was my game. Like in college, Jake and I, dude. And the thing was, so you remember that fucking raggedy ass house that we lived in?
Mm-hmm.
Great college house, but fucking ragged as shit. The house was such trash. We'd play beer pong in the kitchen, and Jake would do this. He used to call it the Jake Town Stomp. And he'd just pound his foot on the ground, and all of the cups would slide apart from one another. My man.
But that only works if your table's beery.
Right, exactly. Well, in that house, that table was always beery. It never got to the point where it was sticky because there was always alcohol.
Right.
Flip cup was never my game. Not a big flip cup fan.
No.
We did play this game called Knockout, which was absolutely fucking absurd. So it was basically taking the element of beer pong where, like, if you knock the cup off the table, you had
beer in it?
Well, that was the thing. Is so this game called Knockout was you had two solo cups that were empty, and then you had, usually it was a mug or something in the middle, and the object of the game was to finish your mug before the other team did. And the way you were allowed to drink the mug was you had to take the ping pong ball and throw it at this empty cup on the corner. And if you knocked it off the table, you could chug until they got the cup back on the table.
Yeah, no,
and I'm pretty sure I saw one or two people go through a wall. So just saying.
Y'all know anything about that? I don't know anything about drinking games.
Yeah, I feel like the only thing we ever played was Pong.
Right. I think that's the only drinking game I've ever played, to be honest. I drink for fun.
Right.
You don't have to make a game out of it. Let me relax.
It's just to chill, man. It's just to have fun while you're doing it.
But I mean, I guess,
I did quarters a little bit back in the day, too.
What's quarters? How do you
bounce the quarter off the table into the? Usually it was a shot glass or something.
Oh, okay. No, never did that either.
Well, sir.
It would, huh?
I guess. I mean, that makes sense. Like, I feel like a lot of this stuff was stuff from football parties in college and that kind of stuff.
What do you do? What do you do if you make it or miss it?
In quarters, I think if you make it, the other person drinks.
Okay.
At least that's how I remember us playing. I don't remember.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Usually there were shots involved in that game, and
right. Now that's one thing I can't do and won't do. I'm not gonna play no games with no liquor.
Yeah, I seem to remember a very fun party where, speaking of the Rita at one point during the playing Pong with us started pretending to be a mastodon. He was running around like, and meanwhile, Cliff and Aaron were playing with we're playing liquor pong. I believe that is the night that you lost your teeth, as well as broke the table in the living room.
That definitely was.
I feel like that was all the same night.
Man, that was a...
Now, was that the night of the pudding wrestling?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. That was all one night? Oh,
Yeah.
And a certain someone's bra, I believe, ended up on the roof.
Whose?
I don't want to put her on blast.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. Don't do that. Listen, I'm half sleepy and shit. I wasn't even thinking. I'm forgetting.
I was about to say, you trying to make me Takashi? I saw you.
Right. Bra's on the roof.
Cliff lost his teeth. Her bra was up on the roof. There was pudding in the hot tub for weeks. Oh. I don't know what happened. Boy, that escalated quickly.
Yeah.
Brick killed a guy.
Sorry, Ron Burgundy. Man, he said, yeah, you're going to have to lay low.
You're going to have to lay low for a while. Maybe stay with some family. Or there was a man on a horse, and I killed him with a trident. Brick, where did you get a live grenade?
Man, I didn't like that. No, that movie, I didn't like the second one.
No, the second one wasn't great. Although, I think they tried to go, like, too over the top with, like, the news fight again. Like, Will Smith shows up from ESPN.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Damn, man.
My favorite part of the first one is where he jumps into the bear pit to save Veronica, and he's like, shh, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, right.
You woke the bears. Baxter shows up and backs down the bears.
Man.
Speaks to him and just starts barking. I met one of your kind, Cujo.
Will Ferrell. I guess. Is he still making movies?
Will Ferrell? It's been a minute.
Yeah.
I will say, so that was another thing that kind of popped up today with the kiddo is we were flipping through the Fire TV or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the line, and Step Brothers popped up, and you know how it does like the little trailer? It's like, did we just become best friends? Yep.
You want to go do karate in the garage?
And Andrew was like, Dad, can we watch that? And I'm like, I don't know if you can watch that one yet.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that one's not. Yeah, no.
What are the other good ones in that vein? Like Old School. I love Old School. Old School's good. Yeah, I'm here for the gangbang.
That's forever gonna go down as one of my favorites. I love Old School. He said we're streaking in the quad.
Bring your green hat.
Right. Snoop a loop.
Yeah, we've got a pretty busy little Saturday. We're going to go to Home Depot, maybe Bed Bath & Beyond. I don't know. I don't know if we'll have time.
No, I might.
Okay. I'll do one. I feel like that's going to be me if I start drinking again. I'll do one.
Yeah, Frank the Tank for sure. Listen.
That's where Reggie comes out. I'm not Mike at that point.
That's moderation. It depends on how much you drink.
That's true.
Man.
I'm trying to remember what else in that vein. Like, I like Wedding Crashers. Wedding Crashers will always be up there for me.
Mm-hmm.
The painting was a gift, Todd.
I'm trying to think myself.
It's sexual and violent.
No.
What'd you do? Did you motorboat him? You motorboat son of a bitch.
Right. That was the funniest right there. He said, where is she? Still in the house? Where's she at?
Where's she at? I feel like you and I could pull that off pretty well.
What the wedding crashes?
Mm-hmm. What would be our backstory if we went? I think we would just say, yeah, we're podcast hosts. We're friends of the groom.
No, you can't do that because then they're hot on your trail. If anything bad happens at that wedding, they know exactly where to look to find you, or at least to get your attention.
Hey man, just gives us another fan. That's what I do on the dating apps. I just really promote the show.
What would I be? I don't know what I would be. What would I say I am?
We could really throw them off. We're beat cops.
Listen. Undercover on a wedding sting. It's the fucking open bar bandit. Strikes every wedding, and we're here.
And
undercover.
meanwhile, we're the open bar bandits.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know where he could be.
He said, God damn it, he struck again. We'll follow up with you if we hear anything.
Oh, man.
The open bar bandits. Where'd that come from?
Oh, I think where what? Like the open bar bandits?
Yeah, where'd that conversation come from?
Oh, talking about wedding crashers and how we were going to crash
weddings.
And
Right.
I'm trying to think like other movies in that vein, like old school wedding crashers, Anchorman. Like I like the Judd Apatow movies, but they're always like an hour too long. Like
who's Judd Apatow? Like Knocked Up and all that.
And This Is 40 and.
Mm-hmm. I like Knocked Up though. Somewhat.
Oh no, he's doing the dice roll move too much.
Right. Right.
I feel like most people say Pineapple Express. I
love Pineapple.
I don't smoke enough weed for that to be funny to me.
You don't gotta smoke weed for it to be you have to smoke some weed. Real funny. But nah. You good with Pineapple Express.
I always like the Beer Fest and Super Troopers.
I don't know. I love both of those, but I don't know if I put them in that category.
No.
Nah, I don't think I put them in that category with them.
You know what? I agree in the sense that I don't think there's quotable. Like, to me, a good comedy movie is one that is quotable that I could, like, pull lines back from years later and people still get it and still think it's hilarious.
Right.
Like, before memes were a thing, that's all we did was quote Anchorman. I don't know. Sweet Odin's Raven. Unique to New York.
Tropic Thunder. When that came out, that was my shit.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I feel like I missed the boat on that one. Like, I've gone back and watched it since and recently because I don't remember, like, really seeing it. And that one, for me, just, it doesn't hit. Like, and maybe it's because, like, I think it was so hyped up for me that I'm like, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I do like it, though. I do like it when it first came out. I watched it over and over, but I would agree. I don't know if it belonged in the category with all the other ones.
Another one that I feel like has a good amount of rewatchability is what is it? Role Models. I like Role Models.
Can't really go wrong.
All Red's hilarious.
Yeah, you can't really go wrong with Role Models. Yeah, my brain's just not working. I don't know what it is.
It's all good, man. We're an hour in. We can cut it early if we want.
I can't think nothing.
Grandma's Boy is another one that kind of pops up every now and again. But again, it's not. It doesn't have like it's not quotable. Like I like it. Same with Office Space. Like it's fine. I enjoy it. It's funny, but it's not like it's not one that
I get you on that.
Yeah.
Because everybody hyped up Office Space, and right. I didn't quite get it myself either.
What'd you do with $1 million? 2 chicks at the same time. You really need $1 million to do that? You do when you look like me. The Rita chiming in with Spaceballs.
Spaceballs is pretty good.
Yeah.
I like Spaceballs. You said what?
She said I was just referencing Pizza the Hut because I feel like that's what she always brings up when she talks about that movie. Yeah, I don't know. I like comedies. Comedies are another thing, kind of to that earlier point about Cards Against Humanity, is they're kind of like a lot of the times they're kind of in the moment, and not a lot of them have like that long-term staying power.
Right. But that's another thing. I don't feel like we talked about it earlier. I don't feel like we're doing enough to make, well, not we, because I damn sure ain't involved in me. But there's no originality anymore.
Yeah.
It's always a copy or a remake of something. And that's why you don't get your Wedding Crashers and all those movies anymore.
True. Now, I will say there were a couple of good ones, like, over the last couple of years. Like, Good Boys was all right. Blockers, again,
I like
going back to John Cena. Like, the beer chug, the ass beer chug, like...
I'm not gonna lie, I liked Hall Pass when it came out.
Okay.
That was funny.
What was the other one that was in? Oh, Booksmart was the other one. It was kind of like the female version of The Boys. Or Good Boys.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Actually, you know what it was? Booksmart is like the female version of Superbad.
Oh, okay. Superbad was my shit.
Yeah, Superbad's up there. Like,
yeah.
You know where my back's located? On my cock. Superbad's good. Bridesmaids is up there. I'll give Bridesmaids the shout out. And I like anything
it's all right.
with Tina Fey and Amy Poehler. Like, again, what is it? Sisters? Again, John Cena shows up and he's like this cock diesel fucking drug lord.
I don't know if I've seen that.
Oh, it's probably one of my, like, Tina, for as much as they've done together in, like, TV, Tina Fey and Amy Poehler haven't done a ton of movies together.
Really?
But that's one that, like, it's that and it's Baby Mama. I feel like the two that they really, and I think Tina Fey produced both of them.
I wouldn't doubt it. She did. Tina Fey is a big deal.
Yeah.
But Weekend at Bernie's used to be my shit.
Yep, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Were you so you call out Weekend at Bernie's, and that takes me down to like Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I love Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What about like the Happy Madison stuff, like the Happy Waterboy, Billy Madison?
I feel like, like Billy Madison. No. I feel like I liked them for the time period.
I'm kind of with you, and honestly, like, had Adam Sandler not continued doing the same shtick forever, I feel like those movies would have more staying power. But now when I watch them, I'm just like, I've seen Adam Sandler do that shit for so long that I'm kind of like, eh.
Right. It's kind of like Jim Carrey.
Right.
He just was like, let me fall back for a second.
Yeah.
And listen, he learned some shit.
Right, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and speaking of Adam Sandler, like I think one of his best roles ever is it's a movie with him and Don Cheadle, and it's I think it's Don Cheadle. Yeah, it's called Reign Over Me,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a very like dramatic role, and is like Adam Sandler is this character who basically lost his entire family in 9/11, and so like he kind of lives as a hermit, and he's wealthy, but like is very kind of like almost not even childlike, but has like he's very guarded and like almost somewhere on the spectrum with everything, like from the PTSD type thing, and like Don Cheadle tries to bring him out of it. And again, it's that idea of comedic actor doing a more serious role that I feel like he hit it. And I actually think Adam Sandler's one of those folks that could do more in terms of like dramatic roles, but he defaults to basically like helping out his buddies.
Right. You need to know. But shit, I respect it. He paid anyway.
No doubt.
Shit. I don't know.
I mean, shit, he was one of the first people to get like a big Netflix deal and basically allowed to make whatever the fuck he wanted.
Really? Mm-hmm. I don't like the way he did Grown Ups too.
No, I'm with you, and that's the thing is that like that was either on the heels of or right before he got the Netflix deal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and if you remember, like he did like 5 or 6 movies for Netflix, and they were all awful.
Really? He was just trying to get that check.
No doubt. But that was the start of like Netflix was doing a lot in the content space, but not doing a lot. Like they were signing big names and big deals, and then not delivering.
Right. That's interesting.
All right, dude. Well, we're like an hour and 15 in, and I think we've hit our topics. I don't know what you want to do, because I know you're kind of fading, and I get it, man. Like we did it. We had an episode. We had a good conversation. Maybe we cut it.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Before we ruin a good thing.
I got nothing.
All right, man. Well, you got anything to take us out?
Love everybody. Peace in the... What do you call that? What area is that?
The Russian peninsula? I don't know. That's not a peninsula. In the Northeast?
Well, wherever. Peace there.
All right.
Yeah.
I get it. All right. Do us a favor. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we will catch you next week. Peace out, fools.
Hey.